Hello everyone, Scream again. This time we'll be talking about splash page releases. Yay! Whatever. Okay, so for this example, I'll be going over the splash tab and tasks and pretty much more in depth of the bot. Um, so I'm gonna be for like the product code and stuff. I'm gonna be using the utility black product code because you know why not? It's like right there. So yeah. So step one of splash page releases is go to the splash tab and go to create splash. So splash page waiting URL thingy. That's right here. Depending on your region, this is where you choose. Like if you're UK, then instead of US, it'll say UK, etc. I mean, pretty basic. Um, Splash proxies. So a lot of people get confused with what splash proxies are, how they differ from task proxies, how they differ from monitor proxies. So you can use the proxies are all going to be the same. The purpose is going to be different. So the way I like to think of splash tasks is think of it as each individual task is one person. So let's say you have 10 IPs. Think of that as 10 people standing in Splash for you or in the queue for you. So then that for 10 people you would need 10 IPs. So that's the way I like to think of it. So if you're doing a Splash page release and you have Splash proxies, then you don't need task proxies. You can totally disregard this little box right here. What you do need, regardless of if you're doing a splash release or if you're doing a normal release, are monitor proxies. Like I said in the previous video, these are pretty much monitoring the product. So just have like 5 to 10 monitor proxies in this box and hit save. As always, keep this as default. No need to change it. Let's go back to the splash tab. Create splash and put the rest of your proxies in this box, in the splash proxy box. So, and then there's sessions per proxy or local host. So if you change this to 2, so for every proxy it'll have 2 splash tasks. I recommend keeping it at 1 because if you really change it and you do like 2 or 3 or even 5 for God reasons why, it the chance that you're gonna get banned is much higher, and that's not worth it. So it's better to stick with a 1-to-1 ratio. And then region, make sure it corresponds to the URL, so that would be US. Now save, and here are your splash tasks. So, and now go to the normal tasks section and go to create. And now take the PID or product code of the shoe. So I'm just going to use the code from the previous drop, and there you go. Region, make sure it's the same as the URL and everything else. Size, obviously just do you do you. CAPTCHA, Yeezys and I think Pharrell's all have CAPTCHA, so make sure you have this option marked. Splash, obviously, since you're using a splash task or multiple splash tasks, then have this marked as well. And loop, as always, so you don't have to keep making tasks over and over again, and it keeps carding. And same thing from the previous video, task webhook, that's if you want one task, this particular task, to have one particular webhook. So let's say you're sending carts to like 2 different servers. Half of your tasks will have one webhook and the other half will have another webhook. So this is where you can put that webhook. Task proxy if you want a specific proxy, and just hit save. Now repeat this process like 3 or 4 times. It's not really like, if you have loop on, it's not really that necessary. You can probably get away with like 3 or 4 tasks at most, because you don't really need that many, because it just keeps going on and on and on. It just keeps carding over and over again. So it's not like Splash Force or Gen 5 in my experience. You don't need so many tasks. You can make do with like 3. It's the same. So, okay, and now cards. This is where your cards will appear once you get some, and then settings. So you've seen this page. You can move on from there. API. It's just like the last video. Just refer back to that sample name. That's the name of the Adidas account. This is the catch-all. This is the password, and this is the webhook for all your normal tasks. Miscellaneous. Now this is if you want to use CAPTCHA services like toCAPTCHA or anti-CAPTCHA. Me in particular, I don't use them personally because I find them rather slow. I think I pride myself to be able to solve CAPTCHAs pretty fast, so I normally leave this blank. But if you want to use them, sometimes it's nice to get one of your CAPTCHAs solved automatically. So just put in your API keys here. Region, make sure it corresponds to the URL, so US in this case. Just go there, and then once drop time comes, just hit start and start for all of them. And as always, make sure you hit save, otherwise your settings aren't going to be saved, and that's a problem. And then about, deactivate. Nah, no one really goes there anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much it. A lot of people are like, oh, when do we start our tasks? Should we start as soon as Splash goes live? Sandwich will tell us when to start our tasks. You don't need to worry. Sandwich pretty much just watches until Adidas loads up stock, and then they start letting people in, and then he tells us to go. Personally, I've always listened to Sandwich, and every single time it's been pretty much a successful drop for me. So don't freak out. Don't listen to people telling you to start. Sandwich will tell you when to start. That's all you have to do. Okay, and CAPTCHAs. So to solve CAPTCHAs, right here is this little loop button. Yeah, just hit that, and it goes to loading CAPTCHA harvester. And here you go. Here is your CAPTCHA harvester, and you just solve some CAPTCHAs, and you keep solving, and now I feel embarrassed because I said I was a good CAPTCHA solver, and I'm miserably failing these. Oh, great. Whatever. I really recommend signing into a Gmail so you can get your one-clicks in and cart like 15 pairs or whatever real quick if you have an old Gmail account. Also, sometimes people run into the problems where their IP is banned by Google from solving CAPTCHAs, and they're like, oh great, we can't cart anymore because we can't solve CAPTCHAs. Well, a simple solution that I have is to just take a VPN, like a free one. I personally use TouchVPN, so just add that to Chrome and close that. So let's say your IP's banned and you open up your harvester and it says, oh, can't connect, or this right here is not there. So you just go to your VPN, connect, wait for it. Alright, you're connected. Just refresh and hopefully it should pop up. And then you can go back to taking all the stock. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you get any errors, then make sure to check FAQ. And then if you still can't solve it after checking FAQ, then just go into the support channel in Discord. And yeah, hopefully